Hello again and welcome to the second section on Masters, Themes and Layouts in our course on PowerPoint 2013. In the previous section we looked at the relationship between masters, layouts and slides, and just to start this second section I'd like to look at another example just to show clearly how that works. And what I'm going to do is to change the background colour of a slide. Now I've got the House of Lords slide selected at the moment, so let's change the background colour of that. I've chosen a specific slide, slide 3, and we know which layout it was built from, but if I select the specific slide and then right click, one of the options is Format Background. Now I can change the background of this slide to a solid fill, a gradient fill, a picture or texture fill, a pattern fill. I'm going to change it to a solid fill, and I'm going to choose one of the theme colors. I'm going to choose this green one here, and that's it. That's the color of that specific slide. Now I'm going to go to the View tab, the Slide Master, and I'm going to find the layout that slide was built from. It's actually that one. And I'm going to change the background color of the layout. So again, right click, Format Background. I think I'll go for solid fill again. And again, this time I think I'll choose a sort of that sort of purpley color, I think. Okay. So I've changed the color of the layout. Now if I close the master view, what colors will the three slides in my presentation be? See if you can work that out. And the answer is they're all three different colors. The first slide is based on a layout which hasn't changed, and that layout will inherit its background from the master, and the color of the master is the gradient that you can see in that slide. The second slide was built from a layout whose background is pink. The third slide was built from a layout whose background was pink as well. But the third slide has also specifically had its background color changed to this green color. And that really demonstrates how inheritance works. It basically means you start at the top, so that's what everything starts with, whatever the background color of the master is. Then individual layouts can be changed, and slides built from those layouts will inherit what's in the layouts, except where the individual slides have things changed. Now this doesn't only apply to background color, this applies to colors in general, it applies to fonts, effects on objects and so on, as we'll see later on. So this inheritance covers a wide range of the stylistic features of each slide, each layout and each master. Now the next thing we're going to look at would appear possibly to turn all of that on its head. It doesn't really, it's just a little bit unnerving when you first see it. The principal factor that determines how a presentation looks is the theme. And the theme of a presentation can be selected from a large number of themes that are provided with PowerPoint 2013. You can download themes, you can even create your own themes. We're going to restrict ourselves to the built-in themes here. And if I say chose that second slide and went to the Design tab, I can see available themes. There's a group called Themes, and if I click on the drop down, there is a gallery of themes, and I can scroll down and Live Preview applies here, so I can hover over each of those and look at the effect on my slides. Now let's suppose I choose one of those themes. Let's say I choose that one and apply it. Watch what happens. Now unfortunately it doesn't only apply just to that one slide. It will be applied to all of the slides in this presentation that are based on the current master. And that's because a theme is applied to a presentation via the master. not by individual layouts, not by individual slides, but via the master. So if you apply a theme to a slide, you get that theme on everything built from that master. Now the good news is, as we'll see later on, you can have more than one master. But in PowerPoint 2013 there is now an additional factor. It doesn't really affect fundamentally how that works, but it's a very useful thing, and that is that along with themes you get variants. Now a theme is not just made up of colors, it's made up of many things. It includes colors, but it also includes fonts, it includes effects, and certain aspects of background style. And if I click on the drop down next to variants, I can see that there is a choice of colors on the left, so I can go down and choose a color scheme. I can look at the available fonts, and there are a range there that are compatible with this theme. There are effects. I can choose between the available types of effect. This will affect graphics more than just straightforward text. And then I can choose background styles. You can see a preview of each of these by hovering over, and you can see variations on these. There's even a format background option here. So the extent to which I can fine-tune the theme that's used in PowerPoint 2013 is really very detailed. You can really go in and make something look exactly the way that you want it to. But it's very important to understand that you're applying a theme and a variant to the master slide, and you're not going to have this different on individual slides or individual layouts. You're talking about it being applied to the master. So when you've chosen your theme and your variant, you can say, okay, that's the one that I'm going with. Now I'd like to cover a couple of things next that are really outside the scope of this course, but I think it's important that you're aware of them, and there's certainly a good area for research and probably experimentation on your part. Let's suppose that I want to create a presentation where I really do have a very drastic stylistic change in the middle of it. I've done this sort of thing myself in the past, where I've prepared a presentation covering perhaps a couple of key topics, and as I go into each of those topics I want the look and feel of the presentation to change quite dramatically. If I go to the View tab here and then into Slide Master, I mentioned a couple of times that you can have more than one slide master. The slide masters are numbered. The one we've got here is actually numbered 1 to the left of it. You can insert a new slide master. So if I click on Insert Slide Master, I get a new slide master, number 2, and it gets a default layout, and it also gets a set of layouts that are linked to it, and each of those has a name and a particular structure and so on. And as you'll realize by now, we can go in and change each of these. So we could either stick with these, make changes, and so on. But also we can go in and start to format that slide master. So for instance, if I went in and right clicked on it, I could say Format Background. I could say, well, I'm going to apply solid fill for this. Let's go for, say, that color, a blue, and that's a background color for this slide master. Now note, because I've got 2 slide masters and each has its own set of layouts, every time I put a new slide into the presentation, I can choose whether I want the sort of master style 1 slides or the master style 2 slides. And to each of those I can apply its own theme and make all of its own stylistic settings and changes. So that's a pretty useful facility within PowerPoint 2013. The second thing I'd like to point out to you here is that we've already seen that you can edit a layout. When we were looking at the slides about the House of Lords and the House of Commons, I showed you how we could move the title from the bottom to the top, basically swap that with the text placeholder text box there was. So we've already seen editing a layout. You can also actually create your own layout. So if I selected, say, this second master, in the Edit Master group up on the ribbon there's an Insert Layout option, and if I click on Insert Layout, it inserts the layout at the bottom. select that, and I can then go in and edit that layout. So I could, for instance, move that placeholder or even delete that placeholder. And in fact, up on the ribbon there is a master layout group on the Format tab, and that's got Insert Placeholder, and in there I can insert placeholders for text, pictures, charts, tables, so on. Now many of these we haven't used yet, and we'll be looking at those later on in the course, but as a matter of principle it means you can create your own layouts or change the layouts that are provided by default to make a particular layout that you can use for as many slides as you like. And of course you can do these separately for each of the masters in your presentation. Now that's another topic I'm not going to go into in any detail. Hopefully by the end of the course you should actually be able to work this out for yourself, particularly when we've looked at some of these other placeholders later on. But it's a very valuable way of saving yourself time by letting you create your own masters and layouts and then customizing those to your own requirements, not only in terms of things like the themes, the colors, background colors and so on, but also in terms of what's actually on each slide. So we're coming to the end of this particular section now. We've made quite a few changes to our presentation, and I've got one other topic that I want to cover under the general heading of masters, themes and layouts, and that is, you may have noticed a little footer, the word footer here and there, and you may have noticed the date here and there. You may even have seen a page number here and there, and you may be wondering why none of our slides seem to have those on them, and that's what we're going to look at in the next section. So please join me for that.